What a comeback from Talon. They had all of us on our feet on the map of Haven against Evil Geniuses. I'm your host, Yingsu, and I'm back here with Mitch and Achilles. I don't even know what you guys got to say, but all I'm going to say is that map was so fun. That was so fun.
So far, it is a very good day for Pacific teams.
You're having the time of your life.
But so far, it's feeling pretty damn good.
We gave you 5 seconds at the start of this. Your 5 seconds here are gone again, okay?
Right. That's fair.
Cutting you off.
Right.
Yeah, but
I think
Mitch,
it's only fair.
Even you were smiling
Look,
at the
what
end
can
of
I
that.
say? What can I say? Talon played an absolutely incredible game. I mean, after that first half, listen, I do not think I've seen a team plant 11 times in a half, win 3 of those rounds, look that abysmal in half one, and then come out of the game thinking that they could go all the way. This was unbelievable second half play from Talon from every aspect, not just individually, but even, and Sideshow touched on it a bunch during the game. The calling from Cruz was unbelievable, and they were dealing it up against some players like Ethan, who was having a very good first half. I mean, he had some incredible plays. No more than what we just saw here, countering the Rolling Thunder with a flash in, slowing them down, converting 3 kills. It was a great early attack by Talon that got squashed. But look, after that first half, they just couldn't make a mistake.
Yeah. It was a really risky play, but it is the breach off at the end of the day here that we wanted to highlight because Jit Boys just went off. We saw him playing incredibly well on Fracture. We saw him supporting his team in that first series, but he wasn't near the top of the standings. In fact, he was down at the bottom. And it was like, okay, new player, that's excusable. Today, he is fragging out of control, dropping 176 average damage per round, and inevitably overtaking Ethan statistically by the end of that map. The run back here from Talon was absolutely immaculate. Went back and saw it after we came out of that halftime, and I did kind of realize they started off on the defending side when they played against MIBR on Haven, and there they were able to put up an 8-4 score line. So it seems like defending side for them on that map is just pure ecstasy.
Yeah, and I got to give you complete credit for that set, because literally the second we tossed back in a game, he turned and went, oh, I should have said the defensive 8-4 thing. Yeah, and you were spot on, man. I mean, what a turnaround, honestly. And this is probably the one time I'm going to say it wasn't even your Pacific bias. You saw the stats, saw the numbers, and I loved it. And one other thing I had was Garnets. This guy for me coming in, I'm thinking, and I mentioned it, if he was playing the Rays, somewhere that I don't know if he'll match up on a duelist level against EG, players like Ethan looking unbelievable right now as well. There's just so much to worry about. And yet, you know, he delivered again and again, and that's, again, the second half. Come on. Yeah. How was he able to do that? I'm
glad you brought up Garnet, because let's take a look at this Verizon high-speed moment. I just hope that, like, Ethan is doing okay. His wrist is all good, because if that was me, Achilles, my entire body would have been broken from having to deal with this.
Yeah, I mean, from the outset, the flash comes in. Garnet has limited vision, still manages to get that off shot, and immediately continues to hold the angle. Tries to go for the reload on the shorty, and then boldly decides, he says, you know what, I can't dash back out. I can't get through that garage connector on his C from this angle that I'm playing. So he has to jump into the corner and go closer towards Ethan. It's played to absolute perfection. You can see Ethan, he's just running around like a headless chicken trying to figure out where the hell he is.
Yeah, the face says it all, doesn't it? His reaction was the same reaction that everyone in the stadium, everyone watching at home, we all felt the same way. Just how has this guy gotten away with it? And he was doing it a lot.
He did it more than once.
6-0 in opening duels. This guy came in and he said, oh, you don't know if I'll match up against them? No. They're barely going to make it onto the server when he's around. Unreal performance from him.
The fact that he managed to do that more than once, like the techers on this man. But before we head into the next map, well, let's check in with Ethan again. I feel like after losing that round, I just hope everything is, he's going to be okay. But of course, we're going to be moving on to a split soon. We're going to talk about that in a second. Before EG, do you guys see that as a potential mental boom? A 9-3 lead to lose it like that?
I don't think so, but it is difficult to say. I mean, we did see Potter as well kind of getting stressed in a way that we hadn't seen in their first series. She was having to burn those timeouts, whereas before the team was able to course correct. They were able to figure out their own mistakes and get things back on track. That did not happen here, and this time around, the timeouts didn't really, unfortunately, help too much here for EG.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we mentioned was the ability of this team, even when losing opening duels, to still bounce back and still win those rounds. And Hell, we saw it in the first half again. Like, those retakes were unreal. They were down, and they were constantly able to fight back into the round, but the pace change was crazy. I'm glad to see Ethan warming up with the pistol there as well, because as Sideshow said, you know, this is it was the quote, the most thrifties I think we've seen so far in any game.
Yeah.
And I'm with you, man. That, especially in regulation, there were just pistol wins all the time.
Yeah, he looks good in the aim-lab shoot-around as well, of course, as we move on to Split Talon's map pick. We've only seen Split once so far in this tournament, but my god, I am so excited to see Garnet on this map.
Yeah, we can only expect that he's going to be bringing out the Raze. We thought we were going to see that from him again there on Haven, but I'm very happy that he went for the Jet, because otherwise we would not have gotten that high-speed moment from him. But going back into Split, it still seems like Raze is an El Clasico pick for this map, so I'm expecting to see him go back over to that, which he looked absolutely stellar on in their first series versus MIBR. He was going toe-to-toe with Heat, who is still in his own right, putting up some solid numbers, but at the end of the day, it was Garnet who walked away as the better Raze. So I'm expecting that again here from them today.
I think that's a fair call. Looking over at Calm as well. This guy was playing a fantastic support game. His flashes in the first half were on point throughout it, and a big reason that they were able to so consistently get back into the site for retakes. He is going to be incredibly important when it comes to a map like Split, because retaking on this map is a different ball game to what we see over on Haven. There's a lot less space. You're coming in through choke points, and often you're going to have players waiting for you all across the map. He's going to be crucial, and so is the agents that he's playing.
Well, we're heading to the Prime Gaming agent select here, and of course, EG, they picked to start on defense since Talon had the choice of picking the map. And it looked from the hovers, it's looking like maybe we're getting a Jet here out of Garnet, but Jogamo's going to go for the Raze.
He's taking a Viper.
Just waiting for that last little flip over there. Garnet does go for the Raze.
Oh, double controller as well. You know, Sushi Boys and Crew's going to be bringing a lot to this Talon side. It was something that we mentioned briefly, which is that EG, they lost BCJ quite a bit in some opening duels. They were out of smokes in a bunch of their attacking rounds, but this time around, you look at Talon, even if you take that one smoker down, they're still going to have a pretty strong one on the other side. Viper's Pits on this map as well. So valuable for locking down those laneways.
I mean, it's going to be that double controller versus the double initiator here. They've got that breach. We'll have to see if it's going to be good enough, though, for EG, because they need the rally back. They need to take this all the way to Icebox if they want to stay in the tournament.
Yeah, of course, and it does feel like a bit of a Cinderella run. I feel it in the air, you guys, of course. If EG lose here, they're going home, but it doesn't feel like one of those eliminations. I mean, it will be sad for you, Mitch, but it is a little bit too early for me to say that. Let's go into Split first with Bren and Sideshow and see what both of these teams can do.
Yintu keeps calling it a Cinderella run, but this match so far feels to me like two Cinderellas fist fighting in front of the ball, like brutalizing each other to try and get into the pumpkin. It has been a scrappy affair thus far, and I'm interested to see how this map plays out. I have no idea what to expect.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Split though on the big screen again.
Yeah.
You know, back on the big stage, played again once more in pro play, because this map has delivered in the past. We'll see if it delivers again in this series here, because honestly, you're seeing potentially as well a continuation of storylines that we were seeing last time from Talon as well. The rookies on this team, the former, you know, Jit Boys and Garnet, really finding their footing.
Going crazy.
Yeah, in a previous series against MIBR, really making sure that they sailed their team to that win, and in the previous map that we've just witnessed against EG as well, that's still been the case.
Garnet was 6-0 in first kills. That's wild.
That is an unbelievable performance, but pistol round underway. Talon not wasting time. Already just moving straight down mid. There was no one to really meet them, no portion of utility. It's going to be a flash to just try and get this into a Heaven. A little bit of control here. You can see there was a pull to stop them. A lot of players vulnerable up, but a nade eventually pushes them off the angle, and Com's going to be retreating to try and help out BCJ. They've got to know that these players are here. The pop flash is just immaculate. 3 players fully blind, and of course BCJ there to capitalize. Big showcase of skills from him, claiming the 3rd kill and still weaving his way around that pillar, making sure he buys time for the rest of the squad to get the rotation in.
And this EG roster, I mean, I think BCJ is going to be so comfortable in that role where he's using utility for people on the other side of the map and site anchoring heavily on the opposite side to Boostio. And the gameplay there between BCJ and Com is delightful to shut this down.
One enemy remaining. Flawless.
And going into the second round, no force buy-in. So already we're going to start to see a little normalcy perhaps in this game. Interesting Viper Wall. So this one from Talon is going to make it a little more difficult for EG to figure out what's going on B. And that's why you see Jorgamo playing on the opposite side of it. Having said that, the turret is also good here.
Ethan is holding, I think, a stun as well off the contact of something, maybe a bit of utility that's being used.
Probably off turret contact.
There it is, turret gets used, that's a flash and a repeat by Jorgamo. There was an idea behind that. Doesn't come up with any kills. Ethan, though, you are behind the box there. Potentially vulnerable to a bit of spam, obviously maybe not with the classics, but he does get out alive.
And a big pivot from Talon. Perhaps trying to make Fox into the lurker? No, now Fox is even coming with them. Yeah. Only classics on board here though, so it should be still fairly simple. For BCJ, I think his job should be to try and even deny a plant from coming through.
It's going to be the goal of Talon to just try and get that plant, and they'll take it from there.
BCJ just didn't have enough people with him there to commit to the players that were on site, so should be a free plant for Jitboy. A little bit more money to work with in the next round.
Making sure that you clear these angles is going to be pretty important right now for EG, but to do so without too many troubles. Fox the last player standing, so quite simple for Evil Geniuses.
And there are so many trap plays that you can run on Split. EG's comp looks fairly good for it on the defensive side.
Yep.
You can pull off the turret, you've got flashes that you can bust into an area with, some kind of stun and a fault line. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. I'd like to see them set up for something like that in this round. Weaker weaponry, always a good time to pull out a set strat.
Maybe cook something up.
And it's interesting to note, so far, it looks like they're loading ult points onto Cruz. 0 and 2, but I think he's got 4 ult points so far. May have misread that, though.
One, maybe.
Yeah, he's got 5 ult points, actually. So, yeah, they really have been loading ult points into Cruz.
Yeah,
so,
away.
Seems like a major game plan already.
This is the rifle around the Talon. That's what they were waiting for. Again, that util being used, so there's a boombot to clear into mid, but not too much presence being shown. The knife also doesn't tag on to anyone.
If this is a B split, the Killjoy utility in B Heaven is deadly. Off the back of a fault line from Ethan, if you were stunned up going through those nanoswarms and hit the alarm bot, you'd be dead. But their gamble is in the wrong place, because this looks like Talon want to send everybody through B main. That in itself, often inadvisable.
Yeah, this is a little bit unusual for Split. Sometimes you need a bit more nuance in the play, but maybe not when Garnis is just leaping forwards in the bounds with a double satchel. Tries to reset his aim in time, but Bucio will clean him up, so the trade is there. Ethan holding an anti-flash position, and, well, what was he waiting for? There's the brief flash play coming through. Talon still coming up with a lot of kills with their rifles, but it's down to that 2v2.
I think EG have done a great job at making this down into a 2v2. BCJ, with not that much to work with, has comp been read on the flank.
Yep, angles found. Fox's crosshair placement, quite sublime. It's all down to BCJ. Does have the Bulldog. Finds his shots well, might be able to make something happen, but not quite.
It's a decent bonus, though, overall by EG.
Yeah.
Having said that, Talon just managing to make a 5-hit work through B main is surprising. But look how much space Garnet gets for his team. I mean, you can see it when he just double blast packs through and still finds the entry.
It's one of the downsides of running the Killjoy, honestly, compared to the Cypher, I think, as an alternative as well, is that I mean, sometimes you expect the double satchels to break some of the trips as well, but also those trips really do push you away from being able to make those fast plays through the choke points.
It is a scruffy buy from EG here.
Yeah.
They bought up a little too much on their bonus round. BCJ in particular having to buy all of that utility with only a Stinger now.
A fight being taken. Jorgamo luckily has a rifle in his hand, so...
Yeah, dodgy timing though. That was really risky. Him just walking up the ropes at that point.
A little bit all over the place, but it does feel like right now the Talon game plan on attack side might be to leave Fox in those advanced positions. The rest of the team now grouping up towards the choke point. Bucio, a couple of shots being landed there as he's just trying to make sure that they can't quite get in unscathed, but already that double satchel into the back of the side, and Talon have got the side under their control, be able to get that plant.
Interesting that they're not giving the plants to Cruz, right? So they're actually getting the Viper roll and the Null Command up at roughly the same time. Cruz is so far away. I assume he has some lineups because there's a Viper orb on the plant, and he's got his snake bites.
Playing for that one, Sushi Boys. Well, okay, Aftershock pushed him out of position, still gets a kill though. The fight taking place around the pillar. Garnet's swapping the weaponry, and now there's that time pressure being applied. A nade close, all Garnet has to do is survive, and he's making it so much more difficult for them. They know that the lineups are being played. It's a reflank. Com pushes him off the angle, so he can't fire the second snake bite. A tap onto the fuse, but he's just fired it off into the air. And will there be enough time?
No time.
Sticking it, Ethan gets on it, and the molly, well, it misses.
The molly missed!
It goes wide. Ethan just about gets it. 0.12 on the clock.
The most important molly miss.
That was Com. That was Com's pressure on the flank, pushing him off the angle.
Absolutely. Great play by Com, identifying that that was happening. But my word, literally 1 HP. If that molly lands, that's the round. Just comes down to the finest of margins. But that's going to be such useful information. That's going to be great info for when these A post plants happen later. But oh my word, Garnet did such a good job over there. So where did this one end up going?
It was just
too far.
Way too far.
Splattered on the pavement.
And that was just him panicked, I think, a little bit as well, because of that pressure that Com understood to fight that post plant.
Absolutely.
The fact that EG understand, they have that info now that the post plants are being played for those A plants.
I think that's going to influence how aggressively they play the retake.
Yeah.
Completely.
I agree. There's not too many layers now to this Talon approach, obviously. Only working with the pistols, so Current spots that contact. Lucio holding close behind Flowers. That could get awkward. Yeah, you can see the util being used, including Garnet's nade. But Com chooses the refight, drops down from on high on Heaven. A bit of a reflash as well, re-peek right down to it. 4 bullets left in it, wants to go for it. There's the ace.
Clean him up, knock him down. That's another eco round.
Yeah.
Com's got his ult online though, and this next round is going to be a massive one. Everybody is loaded with ultimates, and on split, you end up playing agents that have huge ult value. I mean, null command across the board, raise ult entries on both sides, a Viper post plant. There is no way of knowing what's going to happen in round 6 because there's just 100 different ways that you could create strategies around these ults. Fast A ramp pressure though, early on from Garnet. And is that the null command popped instantly from Com?
It was
no,
the knife
just the knife.
tagged,
Okay.
Yeah. Clear now through that wall, so there was a stun on top of it.
Com's going to be under a lot of pressure.
Oh my goodness, and the time being taken. I mean, you've got to be aware that mid wasn't free there, but apparently not. An Aftershock, I think, potentially knocking
1
Boys
HP.
down to the ground. 1 HP, Garnet surviving with that showstopper. Boy's going to be rezzed up in the middle of all of this action, all of this chaos. BCJ had to try and anchor it down there just around the corner, wasn't able to survive.
I don't think Chogamo's going to commit his ultimate to this, even though they would be able to get him a kill or possibly 2.
The damage has been done. The players quite weak on the side of Talon. I think EG are just trying to see if they can spam, maybe be rewarded with a kill.
Oh,
there's
they
one.
took out Jit Boy.
Yeah, Jit
That's
Boy's
massive.
falling.
You actually might be able to commit to this with the ult, but the time is going to be so badly against you. I think the safest option is to save, and that's what EG go for.
Yeah. The potential was there for them. I think they potentially had enough money if they really wanted to fully invest into this round and take the fight, but no, the percentage play from them. So Talon do claim another round here. Second one on the board for them.
And if you look at the economy, EG are going to be able to buy again. BCJ with a lot. Com, still fine. Good ults to work with too. I'm a bit worried about this area of the map though. You see that replay where Com has to go and re-clear through ropes. And without the Cypher, without a trip being down there, they're never playing an alarm bot in that position. So they don't have very good info in the middle of the map, despite running a Sentinel. And we'll talk about that next half as well, because Talon aren't running anything like that. But it's awkward.
It's quite awkward. EG are putting a bit of presence into mid. A lot of the ults being used there. You can see that Cosmic Divide ripping across the A site. And it has dragged a lot of the EG players over. Oh, Ethan almost getting caught with util out, honestly, just jiggling the angle. But gets the stun rip and now going to be backing away. But Talon, they don't really have much presence anywhere on the map.
No, and perhaps they were hoping to force out Jorgamo's ultimate there. Seems like a pretty reasonable defensive play, right? You think they're going for a fast A hit, pop the ult, throw the nade, but Jorgamo still has both. And that could crush another A hit as long as he doesn't get killed going for an info peek.
Well, Tom does have the ult as well.
And there he goes. Gets
Double
killed.
contact re-clear, and now the no command gets popped off. Garnet's just trying to skip and hop through the choke point, trying to lead his team in, and again, the smoke causing all sorts of issues. BCJ, how's he claiming two there? Talon eventually going to be claiming this site. Cruz this time not playing post-plant molly position a bit further back, but will there be anything to punish this one? Well, Boostio's watching it.
It's just bait.
Yeah, just bait. Still the flash re-peek, and oh my word. Oh, flash over the top. Not a single player from EG could see.
Oh, that flash from Jitboy was amazing. Incredible stuff. But to me, the crucial death is on Jorgamo, because I think his nade, his ultimate, would have been so good at shutting down this round, and instead, it's the first death on the defense. This is now starting to become a really good attack side for Talon. I know there's only 3 rounds, but that's out of 7 played so far, and Split's normally pretty defensive focused.
They managed to knock EG down to those weaker guns. In theory, weaker guns. So listen, judge and play on Split, so don't want to speak too soon, but...
And I also want to note, Brent, how much emphasis Talon are putting on A-ramp control. They're threatening A-ramp and A heaven. After the changes, I think that seems like a great way of playing Split.
Making sure that they take control of that one. Still holding the space there. Did they manage to grab early? Boostio was hoping, I think, for a cheeky kill there with the Sheriff. I like how Talon have really slowed down this round, honestly. Not giving too many opportunities for EG to get back into this one with the Stinger bite.
And once more, it's going to be another A commitment. Cruz just trying to deny information with the Viper setup, and it's going to work nicely. But the defense is still spread pretty cleanly across the map.
Yeah. I feel like Ethan is just guaranteed to get a kill here. Look at this. I mean, it's just a judge up close on Split.
I don't think it's going to make a difference, though.
Yeah. Probably not, but we'll find out anyway. Fragment nade dropped down again to the choke point. Garnet's not being denied that double satchel play. Doesn't know where the player is.
Did Garnet not see Colin?
I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe he expected him to be able to retreat back through there. Jorgamo unleashing that showstopper right up into the sky, and time is running so low. 10 seconds. Will they get a plant? Pushed off of it. Aftershock into the corner, nade into the back, and there is time still, but it needs to be right now. Need to get that plant, and
it's
now
too late.
It's being denied. Pushed back off of it, EG. A minor investment from them, and yep, classified as the thrifty round.
I'm amazed that they got that one. I really am.
Yeah.
I don't think Com should have had a kill playing from that position close up. When Garnet's is double blast packing through, surely he sees him. And yet, didn't turn around to deal with it.
That's just, yeah, that's
Good
quite
usage.
insane.
I gotta say, good usage of the ultimates though from EG. Very opportunistic, using the Raze ult, using the Breach ult there to capitalize on an opportunity. Great stuff. And this is the first time really that we see Talon putting a heavy emphasis towards B since, I don't know, round 2, round 3?
Yeah, from early on essentially. It's again, same game plan. Bit of util to try and push Garnet into that deeper position. He does have that judge in his hand, nades. Forces Jorgamo out of position ever so slightly, but now going to be able to reclaim that space, and there is potentially, yeah, flash play, yeah, okay, util now just being dumped into the one side of the site, not letting them get it set up. And that was a Viper's pick committed there by Cruz.
Very well dealt with by Evil Geniuses, very well dealt with. Not stepping through, nobody challenging Garnet while the Viper wall was up.
Yep.
They wait. The players in B heaven are covering the left side of the pillar. The players on the ground are covering the right side of the pillar. Very good defensive protocol. And Boostio doing a great job up from B heaven, comboing with Jorgamo. The two less experienced players on EG there. Coming up huge.
Talon taking this time out. I want to see a bit more nuance to their play, I think, for the attack side, at least on Split, because so far, Josh, It's been a lot of heavy hits through the choke points, grouped up.
They haven't got mid once.
No, and I think as well, EG have got a bit of a handle on this one now as well, because the players, there was just complete peace of mind.
Yeah.
When they were holding that position, they just didn't really have too much of a fear of being flanked through mid again.
Yeah, I'd like to see them at least work a lurk up through there.
Yeah.
What was interesting was, Boostio's been putting his Killjoy setup in B Heaven a lot of these rounds, and it's never been useful because Talon are just never going in through mid.
Yeah.
It is a bizarre way of attacking this map, but they've still found some value out of it. I would like to see Talon mix it up just a little bit though, especially, maybe not in this round, but round 11, throw in something in mid. Maybe it's a lurk, maybe it's a B split. Maybe you go and take mid early and then just go back into an A hit, and you know that you've pulled the A site players into heaven.
Lots of options available to them. But whatever the timeout was for, probably not going to be for this round.
I don't know, we've seen a lot of thrifting.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, there's...
And, okay, well, starting things off on similar kind of foot.
And Talon do go pretty heavy in mid here. So, pistol round, round 10, the few times, the two times that we've seen this.
Contact re-clear! Okay, shots are rattled off. Cruz was allowed to get 3 fired.
Oh, no.
And there's just contact re-clearing right into the Fox. I mean, he's not wasting any time.
Oh,
All this space being
God.
gained, a bit of overheat potentially there. He wanted to use the Seekers, but listen, calm down, lad.
Fox has just won this round on his own.
Yeah, one player left standing, and that is Boostio. First obstacle removed. But yeah, it's a 1v3, and now the Knife's going to be revealing that position. How do you play this one?
Is there any way to play this one?
I mean, doesn't seem likely, does it? Not really enough time to make usage of that lockdown, and now with that spike ticking down steadily. I mean, Boostio still just loitering around this area, but at this point, it feels like you can only save the only percentage play. A couple of kills, I suppose, but oh my word, loses the rifle in the end. At the end of the day, I mean, there you go for those kills, just in case I suppose they picked up some rifles, but
I don't like
they
it.
only had the pistols, right? And he already had his ultimate. It wasn't even like he was farming the ult orbs.
Well, he actually gave ultimate to Jitboy.
Yeah.
Jitboy would have been one away from his null command and now has it. And null command is massive for being able to help Talon's style, where they've just been hard hitting it into one of the sites. Get a null command, shove it into A. That sounds like a good game plan for Talon. And more than 4 rounds. Okay, we haven't seen too much of Split in the new meta, so maybe this is too early for me to say, but more than 4 rounds does seem like a good attacking half on Split.
Which it certainly has been in the past, so.
Yes.
I see a stun play to try and re-clear through that. I think Garnett's just running straight past this one. The pull being utilized, and well, not too much punish off the back of it. VCJ holding that smoke, discipline at play, making sure he could grab the perfect shot, and now Talon once more grasping at straws, I think, in this round, just trying to make anything happen.
Again, round 11, the only time that we've seen a fight in mid. So Talon now, 3 out of 11 times have gone through mid, put some level of pressure there. But this time the only attempt for EG to fight them, and EG dealt with it very easily.
Yeah.
I am surprised that they didn't try and get value out of the null command. But they've still got it for round 12. Unless Sushi Boys and Fox can pull out something miraculous in the 2v5. But with only 30 seconds left, should be sealed up, surely.
Yeah, that's a smoke on the turret position.
Left.
And you would think that the EG players should be able to hear that. And there we go, dissipates, fades away, does reveal the one play. I don't think that was intentional because Fox has the spike alone currently.
I'd like to see them save, if anything.
Yeah, but going for the plant onto heaven. It's a smoke to try in as well.
Nobody
A
contesting
bit
the
of
plant.
coverage. Yeah, I mean, this is
They're allowing them to get into a dangerous position, actually.
the late backstab here by Sushi Boys. He's holding himself into ropes. Angle, just trying to at least claim 1 kill there, but Fox just swinging wide and not able to land those shots. It's just down to Sushi Boys, but the position is known. I think they heard him, and there we go. VCJ exiting just out of that astral form in time to be able to trade it, and so EG starting to command a pretty decent lead. If they can convert this last round.
Talon's economy is going to be a little stretched here, but I don't think it's going to be anything disastrous. I mean, actually, Fox really doesn't have very much money. Take a look at these replays and then study the economy afterwards, but I think Talon have just made a big mistake committing to the 2v5 there. I said I wanted them to save, and now look at what they're working with. 2 Spectres, light armor Guardian. I mean, it's horrendous. Definitely the best decision there was just to keep the 2 rifles alive. Can they make anything happen? It's a fake onto A with the null command and the Astra ult.
Yeah, a lot of ults at their disposal to try and convert this round. It does force out that lockdown almost immediately.
This is so good from Jogamo, though. Using the boombot, did it spot anything? I don't believe so.
Well, the players are not biting on EG side. Look at that, they still have their coverage. 2 players holding on top of Heaven on the B side. But Cruz, can he get anything done? No, the angle is just a little bit awkward there as he's trying to find that fight, but that 1 kill still backing away, and Talon are looking a little bit lost, I will say, honestly. Now they've just grouped up as 4, looking to try and re-clear into mid. There was a ping there towards Mail.
With how close Garnet and Jogamo are to their ultimates, I'm looking at both of the Raze players in terms of, can anyone turn the tide of this round?
Yeah, you need some really flashy plays, I think, for them to be able to find their way in. And talk about flashy. I mean, Fox just delivers with a shot like that. Lets off the Seekers almost immediately off of it, and now you can see a bit of a split into Heaven. The player's close. Satchel pushes them back and away. BCJ, he's traded. Taken out. Close in the corner. Ethan forced to take the fight into them. Still somehow comes up with the kill. The spike needs to be planted, and EG, they're not wasting time. Already dropping down from Heaven. Lovely flash re-clear, but down to that 1v1. Bustio finds it in the angle. Watch once more. Immaculate crosshair placement. Save hands from him. That is going to be quite a respectable half by EG. Managed to claim that 8th round in the half.
And what a difference when you look at the player reactions compared to the end of Haven. That solid defense side on split, 8-4, very respectable. And the players are fired up. Compared to looking at players like Ethan, for example, where he looked distraught and confused. Big change in morale.
Massive change in morale, and so the first half of map number 2 definitely going away with EG. They send it down to the desk to break it all down.
Thank you very much, guys. We saw a lot of cool ideas there from both sides, Mitch. Some of them worked out, but some of them just didn't quite land.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say there was some disruption coming through on the other side. Yeah, EG again showing us that they're good at fighting their way back into control that they've conceded. But I have to say, all in all, it's a deceptively good half. Like, the fact is, yeah, it's hard to tell. Like, we saw Loud play, and they got 8 rounds on the attack side. They won the pistol, though, so it's kind of difficult to then gauge where we're at right now. I will say, having lost the pistol, still coming out with 4, I'm willing to say the attack side, I still expect to be a little slower. That was a really nice play we're just seeing here from Sushi Boys, though, actually tanking the utility and then coming out when the aftershock's gone.
Yeah, really good little surprise play. And, you know, a lot of surprises attempted here for the side of Talon. You had this really deep setup from Cruz, trying to get this post plant across. You can see it's delaying Ethan. He gets in onto the spike, has to wait as the poison orb comes up. But then, unfortunately, Cruz, he just ends up getting pincered at the very end. It was really great pressure being applied by Com, making sure that he could not get that next lineup to come back across. And then Ethan narrowly manages to get that defused with, what, 0.112, you know, 1-2 seconds remaining.
Exactly.
Something like that. So it was really well done. But the thing that I'm looking forward to now here for the side of Talon, if in fact these 4 rounds are enough on the defending side, is going to be this double controller setup that they have for themselves. We saw Loud playing this just yesterday. Now they have for themselves, they look incredible on the defending side of Haven. Can they replicate that here on Split?
Well, Talon, they managed to come back from a 9-3. EG, they have to hold on here, Sideshow or Brent, or they're going home.
The pressure is certainly on for EG, isn't it, to try and convert this map, and they've got themselves up to quite the tremendous lead at that 8-4 half. I'd say quite a good job, honestly, as well, with the mental rebound after losing that previous map in the fashion that they did, letting that comeback happen in the first place when the map was largely in their hands.
Completely agree. I think for EG's composition, they're going to find it difficult to threaten a ramp unless they take it early in the round. They don't have a Cypher. They can do stuff like pullback smokes, but no Cypher, no Viper over here. And here we go. Pullback smoke allows Giacomo and Boostio to cross. So BCJ is going to be incredibly important in creating A-ramp pressure, even if he isn't playing there.
Cruz just opting to hold up here, but look at this reclear into mid, into
This is
sewers.
aggro.
This
So
is incredibly aggro. I mean, what is that? Surely J-Boy should not be favored. BCJ does do a lot to contain inside the smoke. Fights being taken. And EG players looking to try and pivot into this one, but they're pivoting right into Fox. What is occurring? I mean,
Wow.
this way, that way, a bit of indecision, but eventually they're deciding on the correct side of the map, getting that plant down into
Oh, this is risky. This is risky.
Yep, onto the side of the smoke, and that boom bot, well, it reveals everything.
I do not like this because BCJ is so far away from the rest of the team. When Boostio dies, it's actually a 3v2 on the retake.
Does have the Astro Star at least to buy them a bit of time here, but needs to get into position to threaten that backstab angle, that position, and already this push coming through. Talon, what a kill for Sushi Boys to find. Garnis as well, and everybody's locked down. Plan of ahead when it's just a little bit too predictable.
Overcooked
Yeah.
from EG there. They had all the opportunities in the world to win that pistol. And talk about repeating stories, Brent. EG up at the half, massively up at the half, lose the pistol. Last time on Haven, we saw them go for a force buy. What do you reckon?
Are we going to see it again?
What do you reckon? Do they go for a force? Because you said it, Brent, last time. Force buys let the leading team, they kind of open the door for the comeback.
Yeah. Slipped
Okay.
away from them off the back of it, but no, they've decided
Nothing
against
this
it.
time. I think that's a good idea.
I think this is wise.
I think it's the right play. Talon have already demonstrated a desire to fight aggressively for mid. Doing it again.
Yeah, still trying to take these fights. Pushed up angle, that's the util used to try and push Boostio forwards, but that Boombot, he was blind. Luckily, teammates did have his back, making sure to break it so he didn't take too much damage from this one, but... Okay, Fox. Oh my goodness, just peeking into the turret as soon as he hears it placed. Talon having a decent grip, it feels like, of that mid control, at least containing any sort of avenue. Good usage of utility as well, just to make sure that they're rotating it. So no space can really be gained by EG, because I'm going to be backing away, looking to retake that B main control.
A ramp information completely known by Talon. No pressure on that side of the map. Using a flash as well just to make sure. They are, of course, worried that this could be a pivot through mid to A, but as this fault line comes through, they can start rotating.
Quite nice. Still gives them the pretty perfect timing there for the pull as well, and back up from the rest of them.
Big shutdown, no problems whatsoever. And 5 Spectres taken into the next round. Prime game in Flawless.
Yeah, quite a large round for Sushi Boys as well. Managed to get one away from his ult now, off the back of all those eco kills. And
The ult is pretty good for the retake.
yeah.
I think that's mostly where you're going to see it used. Especially on B.
I'm curious if we're going to see anything cooked up from Talon on their bonus round, though, because...
Double blast pack from Heaven?
there's
Is that what I'm looking at
potentials
here?
there. Looks like they're setting up for it, right? Flash as well. Yeah, they are cooking something. And guess what? EG have players within the vicinity.
Here we
Flashback laid
go.
down, flash as well. Double flash play all the way into them, and Com, he was ready for it. He was playing anti-flash, tucked into the corner, and he managed to strike back.
I respect it. Even though it didn't work, I respect it. I love seeing a little set play like that cooked up. Good awareness from EG that Talon could be getting very aggressive in that area. And now EG can just cut noise, right? Just
Yeah,
slow the pace down.
Really slowed down that pace, which is something that I felt missing at times on Haven. They were getting a bit flustered on their attack side. It's important not to let any of these advantages that have been handed to you just get away, and there we go, a good fight taken. Using those rifles, making sure that they're trading effectively. 50 seconds in a round. But what's going to be revealing the position of Cruz? Aftershock to push him back out of position. Right now, EG just... It is quite tepid, isn't it? They don't want to be taking any of this space onto A.
Yeah,
I think
they're concerned it could be a full 5-player stack. But as soon as Sushi Boys gets that kill, EG are going to realize, oh no, the other 2 players are elsewhere.
Yeah.
could still be a bit dangerous, though, especially given the health that Boostio's on.
Well, Sushi Boys has just got his ult now. And a rifle in his hands from that kill in mid, so Boostio's going to be quite important.
If Boostio falls here...
He's on 20 health.
Yeah.
He needs to be the difference maker, but it's that run and gun in action. And now it's down to that 2v2. Ult's online. You can notice that EG are playing at the back of the site. They recognize that that is a threat in this round. There's layers to it. No one playing out of position here, but the ult is not even being committed still. It's down to that 1v1. Time running low enough here. A wider play, a wider swing by Sushi Boys. And Jogamo, it's intelligent play from him. Sushi Boys needs to stick. This is a percentage play. He's got half. He's sticking it all the way through, and the swing is immaculate. Jogamo with the right timing in his head. He knew exactly how to play that.
Great stuff from Jogamo there. Perfect internal timing, but also had a bit of a pop-off because he won the round and lost his rifle as a result of it. So I don't think it's actually going to make too much difference, except that he's on light armor coming into the next round.
Yeah. I don't know if he'd even be able to save that anyway.
I think he could have done. Yeah, I mean, he paused for a long time there. I don't know. Maybe he did pick in a little bit. He did well. He did well in that round, Jogamo.
Still, it's a good point, I think. It was quite a scrappy round against the bonus of Talon. So, money-wise, half armor for EG.
And a pretty serious focus from EG towards mid. Are they going to create some fake pressure on A to help with this? At the moment, doesn't really feel like it, and mid is getting dominated by Talon utility. Now, Garnet getting himself this pushed up feels like it could be exploitable if they get a read on it later on. There's that bit of a fake.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Except they know it's real. They spotted heads over the top.
Another few retakes.
What's
here.
he doing reloading in the middle of the open?
Reloading cruise. I mean, this is really does feel like a bit of an overheat moment. They've crossed through past his own Viper Orb, satcheling across Jogamo. Everybody's vulnerable up, but will it even matter? Still, the EG players, they take the good fights. Watching for these smokes, and that was just all over the place.
Bit of spaghetti falling out of the Talon pockets. Also, BCJ in Narnia in the post plant. I mean, through the wardrobe talking to the Queen. Mr. Tumnus up in
He's
there.
in the middle of nowhere. He is definitely in the middle of nowhere. This man's just pulling out references I can't even comprehend.
This is how he used to play when he was on Xset though as well. Used to see BCJ and Def go for these crazy long lurks.
EG players though just need to play their lives, play it for time if they can. And
But it's not planted.
For.
It's not planted for BCJ.
And it's not planned for it. Oh, and the pull! Oh, it's at the top! It's right on the top, and it does not disrupt the defuse.
Pasta, spaghetti,
Oh
everywhere.
my goodness.
It's unbelievable. EG should have had that one wrapped up in a bow.
Now I'll say, that is a bit unfortunate. The Astra Stars can get sucked up onto the high ground positions when you try and place them like that, but even still, Josh, I don't think it takes away from what you were saying earlier with the post plan.
But if he's playing that kind of area in mid to go for the reflank, he has to be playing Heaven post plan. The lurk is going to come in Heaven.
Yeah.
If you don't plant for Heaven, it doesn't make sense to have him in that kind of position. And also, it's not even the focus on BCJ necessarily. The players in the post plant are dropping the ball there. The Talon guys are playing so much more clutch.
And the answer from EG immediately into this one with the pistols. They just want to go fast, right through the choke point. Taking some even fights. Can they claim any of these weapons? Yeah, they got a rifle online and the judge, but how do they convert it past this point? Going through into Heaven. Fox, he's given a precise angle, and Jim Boys does watch for it.
Big play by Fox. And Talon really do feel like they've got that clutch factor right now.
Yeah.
As much as I'm not too happy with the way that EG played the postman, you can't deny that Talon, their players are fearless, are swinging in, and they just believe they can win every round.
It's very, very impressive.
Oh, Sushi Boys has been watching the Nuvera VODs. We're seeing the op in Astra.
No, you can't be bringing that up.
I mean, Nuvera was incredible with it.
He was, yeah.
I don't mean any disrespect on Nuvera.
Meta-defining and ranked, I hear. Yeah, no, really great. No, but we see the EG timeout now, so.
I think they're at risk of letting this map slip away from them.
Again, you can't let it happen, can you? 2 in a row.
To go out in this fashion would be brutal. And expected of a team that doesn't have too much experience. 3 players new to the big stage.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at the other side, and there are almost an equal amount of rookie players, that doesn't become as valid of an excuse.
No, I can't help but be impressed with how Talon are playing as well. Listen, with the criticisms we've had towards EG, I don't want to take anything away from Talon, the way they've been playing and the confidence that they've had as well.
It's just so fearless. I just keep thinking back to that word. And Garnet's been very impressive. He struggled to get value out of the entry position on their attack side. He was going in, and he was still fearless.
He was creating space.
But he wasn't quite finding the kills, whereas now on the defense side, especially on the retakes, he seems to be having much more success. And Talon are benefiting massively from that space that he's making. Garnet really is a rookie player, by the way, and somebody that they weren't even intending to play with at this event.
That's the most amazing aspect about it, isn't it?
If Parifan hadn't had to have his wrist surgery, I don't know whether we'd be even seeing Garnet. And what a loss that would have been. This guy has been beastly.
And our focus here on this round, and it's an important one for EG. Money invested into this one. They have the rifles, they've got the ultimates. It should be their round to take. They just need to formulate a plan around it.
They've struggled for mid control in all of these rounds. And look, 4 players from Talon grouped around mid. And nobody from EG pressuring the extremities when this happens, right? There's no reaction from EG. Yeah. Oh, they're fighting mid. Let me go and take a ramp. Well, Boostio can't really without BCJ's smokes. And BCJ's not taking space in B main when they fight mid. So it's all one-dimensional on the attack for EG.
Managed to cross all the way up into heaven, and they're just taking straight on fights. Cruz moves forward, showstopper denied, and the fight's been taken, positioning just swapped and switched around.
How can they know where Cruz is?
Oh my
they don't.
goodness.
Boostio caught completely unaware.
Yeah, just literally trying to, again, take up that space, soak up that avenue to be able to play from.
BCJ again is miles away from the play.
Absolutely
Com
miles
is
away.
so alone.
Showstopper play, spotted him at his ankles as he tried to just play around and weave around that smoke, but maybe BCJ could be the difference maker. An angle, a swap, and a weapon, a stun and a pull though has completely bogged him down, and the nade will finish the job. EG, that was all things considered a must-win round for them. They invested everything in terms of their money. And a lot of ultimates used on top of it. Only that lockdown and rolling thunder to use. Still 2 big tools, but they're going to be kicking themselves.
I'm so impressed with how Cruz and Sushi Boys played that round. Cruz obviously with the first 2 big kills, but look at how quickly Sushi Boys on the fly here decides to place down a suck. Just great utility to neutralize the threat from BCJ. Yeah. Sushi Boys doesn't play smokes, and at the moment he's getting more value from than BCJ, and they're equivalent in the scoreboard, but I really feel like Sushi Boys is right there.
There's a ton of value. Viper spit in mid. That's an instantaneous punish. EG, what a way to try and to make a commanding presence into mid, but okay. Wading into the line of sight angle. Jibbo's obviously favored when he's got those rifles, but hey, it is split at the end of the day. These are short gun range fights that we're taking, and when the stingers are in play, anything could happen.
The rookie players are going huge for Talon, but look at this, veteran Fox decides to reactively push A main off the mid play.
And he's containing, oh, Boostio, no way. He doesn't watch it, and that's that discipline.
Awesome stuff,
So
back to
calm,
back.
man, so calm and collected.
Back-to-back rounds where Talon have star players step up, and they've just crushed the EG economy. Oh no, EG are still going to be able to buy this round, actually. I'm amazed. I thought that they'd forced the previous one.
No, it's just a half buy. With
Just
the
a half
stingers,
buy, yeah. Okay, so EG still have a chance at drawing this one level.
Yeah, getting a bit more loose a bit on the stage. The Talon have steadily taken this lead now, and you're seeing echoes of what happened on the previous map. Get into that second half, Talon. They performed that comeback. Now, looking like they might just do it again. I feel like I've said this a lot recently, but it is a must-win round now for EG. Committing that lockdown does give them a couple of pockets to play in if you are Talon, but Cruz realizes there's not really too much space. Wow, that's a lot of util.
That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, just trying to get out of there. Deals A lot of damage to him, but how does VCT get caught here?
In B main of all places.
He's just way out of the way. EG going to be able to get this plant down. Another fight being taken. And okay, Rolling Thunder to push them back. Ethan just using that ultimate, offloading it, trying to reclaim that space towards main. A little bit all over the place, isn't it? Double satchel play and the flash to accompany. That is just amazing. The coordination is there. Another play from him, re-flanking and repositioning. But now, the Talon players once more come up with all the kills.
And Talon's retakes look sublime. EG's game plan is falling to pieces in the post plant, and Talon are capitalizing. They can smell blood in the water. Only 2 rounds away from continuing to play against DRX and making this little portion of the bracket Pacific dominated.
Massive turn of events.
Oh, Garnet is so fearless in terms of how he takes these fights. And the backfill from the rest of Talon is gorgeous too. Yeah. EG with another timeout. I gotta say, Brent, too, it's gotta be so frustrating being Ethan in this game when he played Yoru, he played KO, and dominated their opening matchup. Yeah. And now he's been stuck on breach duty for these 2 maps, where he just can't get as involved. He just has to always be setting up other people to make the plays. And for one of your players that's the most experienced, that has the most land clutch factor, he's just been taken out of the game a little bit by virtue of the agent that he's been put on. On the other side of things, though, the like-to-like comparison is Jitboy. And my God, is he finding moments to pop off on the KO.
Yeah. As another player that's new to the stage as well. The expectations, I mean, listen, we can't reiterate this more. Talon Esports, most people coming into this event, you know, we were expecting them to, listen, hold their ground, I think, against some of the teams on their side of the bracket, but for them to perform in this kind of fashion is quite amazing.
Yeah, really looking good here. Garnet picking out the operator as EG make the brave decision to play for overtime.
Wow. That is a really hard call to make, and looks like we might be seeing a fight. Some action being taken immediately there. Turret, drop down on the angle. Garnet's okay. It's a little bit risky.
Getting away with it.
Yeah. Does not get punished. Just jiggle beam from Cruz. I mean, he just opens himself quite wide. Snake bite at his feet just in case there is a double satchel play. He's used to this one now, and there was a good responsive utility. He also could be quite nice, but beaming them all down right through the smokes, and there will be no more threat of EG just trying to clamor for those kills.
Talon dominating the mid-fight. Committing a couple of players to it there. But not getting punished in mid, not getting punished anywhere else on the map. Cleaning this up. This was 8-4 at the half. EG only able to put 1 on the board compared to Talon's 8. This is an exact replica of Haven.
Yeah.
EG's attack side just not able to misdirect in the slightest. Talon always with the read, always with the correct play, and always with some level of clutch factor. Can EG pull out 3 in a row, or are Talon moving forwards in the bracket?
That's going to be the big question. We need to see something different from this EG squad. It's a slower start to their attack side round.
This is very different from Talon as well, actually. Committing a lot of people over towards B main. I don't think EG have played there pretty much at all on their attack side.
Maybe anticipating that they would try and go for a faster play with the no command that Com has, but
now they've got Garnet posted up, though. They can commit resources elsewhere.
it's just doesn't quite get punished for that one. Gets the information that they are exploring into mid. They are surrounding. Ethan pushed up. A lot is going to be handled, I think, at the back of this one here. This mid control. The DG just, again, putting a bit of that util into it. A flash. But the players are already rotating on both sides. It's going to be 3 ready to contain on the Talon side for any sort of A aggression. And that is exactly where EG are going.
Does Cruz get cleared here? They don't have really any clue that there could be players up in A heaven.
Satchel across now to no command. Going to be removing any sort of abilities, but enough of a presence away. And well, what was anything anything at all to try and clear them through. That's Jorgamo from the high ground position, clears it out, but the trades, are they going to be there? Jorgamo showstopper play, he does find his target, but there's 17 seconds remaining, and they can't afford to res Com in this fight. Need to get this plant down. Still that position being played by BCJ. In the choke point, it is that 2v2. And EG, they need to win it. Satchel play moves down, still being watched for. BCJ claims it, 1 kill found. Sushi Boys could put a stop to this one, but EG, they desperately need it. Just to continue in the map, to continue in the series. The reposition is there. Not planning for Heaven, but BCJ. Does he spot it? Yeah, just behind screens. They know he's there, but a spam still happening. And they've got a star as well. Pull not being used. BCJ knows it now. Activated. It just feels impossible, and indeed it is. EG survive.
2 more wins needed for EG to drag this one to overtime. Desperate attempt. It works out in the end. Jorgamo being the key player. Finding 2 and then the 3rd with his ultimate. He does everything. Can they rely on that kind of opening again from their Raze player? Sushi Boys now with the operator. Again on B main. So it seems like they don't want to commit too many bodies to B. It's not somewhere that EG have really been playing. So they think it's fine. Okay, 1 player, just with the op. That's all we need to do.
I think that's fair as well. The way this has been played by EG, BCJ's just been trying to lurk through into B. If you hold that with an operator angle, it's not going to be util to push you off the angle.
No.
So I think this is quite smart by Talon.
Every time EG have fought for mid, they have failed.
Will it be any different this time around? Knives exchanged on either side in mid, pushing them back. And the pressure, goodness me, must be mounting right now for EG, because you're just focusing on that next round, just trying to basically claw your way to that OT, but
Ethan has flash.
it's not too much to really work with here. There's a Cosmic Divide being used. Garnet's playing up close here. I mean, that's just so unexpected, and he satchels and evacuates. He's well out of there. Well out of there.
It's amazing, and they didn't hear the nade being dropped either, so look at the damage it did to Common BCJ.
Fully softened up.
Meanwhile, Foxy's got himself into a good position over at A ramp.
Oh boy.
Reading that something could be happening. Noise bait as if it's going A, but actually the spike's still going B.
So just trying to draw those rotations. That's the name of the game right now for EG. Flash over the top though, and Sushi Boy still watching from Heaven. Flick of the wrist, and he finds 1 more target, and still there's just no time. EG denied it, another comeback completed. Talon will move forwards.
Awesome performance from these guys. The Cinderella story from the Pacific region continues. You can't help but root for them. It feels like the same kind of story that we've seen from this core before. Specifically at Champions. Beating one of the North American teams with some cool strats. Taking the pistol rounds, the bonus rounds, the important momentum changing moments. And it was a good run from Evil Geniuses. I think they were another team that got underrated in this bracket, and they did a great job making it through Heretics, giving themselves chances to win here, but the experience just wasn't there.
Yeah, I think it was that experience missing, just the reps being able to play. You got to think as well, Talon, they've got that core roster that is intact, that they've been playing with for quite some time, these guys, but on the other side of things, EG, they are a fresh roster in terms of how they've been put together.
And I think both teams could take a long, hard look at their attack side calling, because we saw this game dominated by the defenses. But it was this team that came out on top, super clutch when it mattered, rookies stepping up. It's a magical run. And they get their shot at taking down Pacific rivals DRX.
Yeah, that would be just immense, wouldn't it?
Would that be? I mean, that would be an enormous upset, but I feel like they've showcased they've got what it takes in moments. They have the players that can turn up. The defense side really does look good when they're playing against teams of the caliber of EG. But I think there are many hurdles ahead for this team. They can be proud of what they've accomplished so far, though, in the tournament.
Yeah.
And representing the Pacific region well.
I cannot sing the praises of some of the newer players that have come up onto this stage, like Ginásio, you've seen before you, like Jitboys, because they have just been standout performers in almost every single series.
Yeah.
You think of Jitboys on that fracture map versus MIBR, playing against the home crowd as well. The crowd cheering against him at every twist and corner, but ultimately still persevering and being able to just have those ridiculous moments on the big stage. And how much further can they go? That's going to be the big question.
Yeah, we are guaranteed a semi-final that's Americas versus Pacific in the Alpha bracket. That's pretty sick. But of course, we're going to have to wait a while for that to happen. There's matches before we get to that point and the entirety of the Omega bracket. Will it be Talon that gets there? That would be some kind of run. Some kind of run.
Certainly would.
It's a great game, very entertaining and heartbreaking, I'm sure, for the side of EG. Huge moments, fumbles, all sorts, everything that you could possibly ask for in this series.
You're seeing the magic of the tournament structure as well coming together, I think. Singular limb, a lot that can happen. You get these results where a team like Talon can really just take their side of the bracket by storm.
And I just want to say again, how incredible that Garnet and Jitboys are the two highest performing players on both maps.
Yeah.
That's nuts. A lot of people, myself included, were underrating this Talon side because I thought that they had missed out on Padafan, even on Serve, on Scary. These were big names the last time that we'd seen them play at events like this. And the rookie players that they've got in have just immediately adapted to the big stage.
Yeah.
I mean, match MVP, you got Garnet, you got Sushi Boys, you got Jitboy. I feel like it's got to be Garnet or Jitboy for me, but
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like the step up in performance was bigger from Jitboy, but maybe Garnet did more overall. It's you at home that get to decide this, but crazy either way that these rookie players have been performing so well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely immaculate, really, isn't it? And now, that's going to do it for the series of the day. It's been a fantastic series, but don't go anywhere just yet. We're going to go to a short break, and on the other side of things, or at least actually, I believe maybe back down to the analyst desk. Not too sure, actually. I've had a bit of a brain fog moment.
great performance, but for one of them, today could be the start of that Cinderella run.
Contact play as well, the paranoia clears that one corner, close for them, and Busio covers again. Cruz returns to fire, but he is the sole player left alive now for Talon. And Jorgamo, good God, man, that is crispy. No slowing down, is there? Feels like round after round, and that was BCJT being in the spawn. He's been dealt with, shorty up close, has to reload that one, Garnet. He's breaking ankles out here, man, and he's found the kill anyway. What are we witnessing? And this is just looking all over the place. Util being used, one after the other. For Talon Esports, 13-11 will be the scoreline for map number 1.
Beautiful comeback from the Pacific team.
That could get awkward. Yeah, you can see the util being used, including Garnet's nade. McCormick chooses the refight, drops down from on high on Heaven. A bit of a reflash as well, repeat right down to it. 4 bullets left in it, wants to go for it. There's the ace.
But as this fault line comes through, they can start rotating.
Pretty perfect timing there for the pull as well, and back up from the rest of them.
Whoa!
Gee, what a way to try and make a commanding presence into mid, but okay, no way. He doesn't watch it, and that's that discipline. EG denied it, and another comeback completed. Talon will move forwards.
Awesome performance from these guys. The Cinderella story from the Pacific region continues. You can't help but root for them.
And that was the Prime Gaming post-match highlights, and probably my favorite ever Prime Gaming post-match highlights, because Achilles, I could watch that game over and over again.
That is one for the history books, I think. I mean, it's already just an incredible series, the way that everything played out. And then when you think about the two teams that were doing battle here, the expectations or lack thereof that were set on Talon ahead of this event, for them to be able to be going this far into the tournament, it's absolutely incredible. The Cinderella story continues.
Yeah, and the fact that they managed to start out both maps. I mean, let's not forget, one of the first rounds that we got to see out of these guys, we had Cruz come in on the Omen, miss a smoke, there was a gap, and they got absolutely annihilated. It looked messy, it looked terrible, and the entire first half carried on the same way. Talon, after 30 minutes being on that stage, I was content that they'd be at the airport tonight. But the reality is, they bounced back from 9-3 down, from 8-4 down. The mental strength this team has must just be off the charts.
It's absolutely incredible. And not only that, but also in rounds where they just happen to lose somebody early. Across this series, I believe they averaged 33% wins when they were in a 4v5 scenario. So even though they give up that first kill, they still oftentimes were able to bounce back and close out the rounds. It's absolutely incredible to see from this team just how level-headed they've been able to remain, despite the fact that they have these two rookies coming through. And just the two rookies, I mean, good God. We'll get to a bit more of them later on, but they just still went absolutely nuclear.
I honestly think we should just get into it now, because you guys heard it from Sideshow and Bren as well. Losing Surf, losing Scary, not having Paddy, it didn't seem like everything wasn't right for them, at least in terms of the narratives going into this tournament. But Mitch, G-Boys and Garnets are just better.
Garnets is a guy that came into today, I had no expectations for him. You know, he is just filling a slot on that roster in my mind. Coming onto an international stage, he has a bit of experience with the likes of X10, so it's not like it's his first time playing at any sort of high level, but the reality is being down on that stage is not easy. And I expected him to struggle up against a team that of EG who have looked good so far this tournament. Not only did he manage to come back from those incredible, downsides, the first halves that they had, not only did he go 6-0 in opening duels on the first map and really set the tone, but he managed to just keep that performance going all the way throughout. Even in that last map, he had some incredible plays. It's so much fun to watch them play.
It's just a complete inversion of what we saw from them versus MIBR, where it was the three veterans on the team who at the end of the day, yes, they get the 2-0 win, but it was those three who were stacked up and looking stronger with the rookies at the bottom. This time it's the two rookies holding their heads high above.
Well, now this boy here, I had a lot to say about him when we started out today. I was expecting to see the Odin. Obviously, the map pool didn't quite allow that, but that didn't mean that we didn't see some good performances. He walked out with a ton of assists walking out of that game. His flashes were on point. We saw some incredible plays, but at the end of the day, it was not enough to push EG across the line. We saw strong performers. Ethan, definitely up there, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait a while before we see them again. I do think EG are a team that will benefit massively, though, from the prep time they're going to get before we kick off the main season.
This is the thing, though. It wasn't just about... EG didn't play badly. They came out into the tournament. People kind of dismissed them before they even saw them play. But I think Achilles, they've definitely answered a lot of the questions. I don't think there's going to be nearly as many doubters going into the Americas split.
And that's what I wanted to kind of touch on here is I hope that that is not the case, because at the end of the day, you could be upset that EG got eliminated, but you shouldn't be making any overarching conclusions based on anything realistically from this event. It's a single elimination event. There's 32 teams. There's so many people to try to prep for, to be concerned about this team for the future. There's so much time to still get ready for that league. Don't go jumping to conclusions and being like, oh, well, we should have had this player. It should have been this. No. Calm the hell down. There's plenty of time. You can see that the pieces are there. Just give them more time to put it together.
I'm completely with you. I'm still on the EG train. I am still on the EG train. Now, before the break, we asked you guys to vote for player of the match. The results are in. Honestly, this one was a close one for me. I didn't even know who to vote for, but Garnet takes it. Honestly, I again, my wrists, my ankles, everyone, my body, Mitch, just hurts from watching this guy.
Yeah, no, especially that play he made inside a garage with the jet dash right past Ethan. I mean, he got him frustrated, and even seeing at the end of that map, Ethan throwing his headset off, there was a lot of frustration built up on that EG side, and you cannot imagine a worse reality than being 9-3, 8-4 up. You feel like the series is in your hand, and in the end of the day, they're not going to be facing DRX over on EG. They're going to be facing a short enough flight home at least.
I do got to give another shout out though to Sushi Boys, because it was the 5th time that he's ever played controller. He's only played Viper twice prior to this, Astra twice prior to this. He brings it out again, and while there was a couple little hesitations there, here and there, it was still a really strong performance from him.
Always a shout out for the boys. And speaking of one of the boys, Jib Boys, he is standing by with Tom Biz right now for the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you very much, Sue. Of course, I am joined here by Jitboy and Kritty, who's going to be doing the translation for us. Of course, first of all, congratulations on the victory. Very well done in the game.
ก็อย่างอื่นก่อนแรกเลยนะครับขอแสดงความยินดีด้วยนะครับที่ชนะในแมตช์นี้ได้เนี่ยว่า good game มากครับ Thank you.
Well, first of all, you're one of the youngest players we have at this tournament. 2 wins under your belt now. I just want to know, how are you enjoying Brazil?
ก็ในฐานะที่เป็นผู้เล่นที่อายุน้อยที่สุดเนี่ยรู้สึกยังไงบ้างกับการใช้กับในบราซิลครับ
ก็ยุ่งยากนิดนึงครับเพราะต้องปรับตัวใหม่ด้วยเพราะเวลาจากไทยกับบราซิลมันก็ต่างกันมากพอสมควร
So when we first arrived here, it's quite difficult for us because it's like our time zone is completely different. In Brazil, it's like around 10 hours earlier than our zone. Yeah. So, but after that, everything is getting better.
So one of the first questions I had for you directly is the fact that coming into this team, you've shifted your agent pool quite a bit, almost sort of moved over to that breach. I want to know, was that your decision, or did the team sort of move you in that direction? Because you've looked great on it.
ก็อย่างที่เล่นเมื่อกี้ที่เล่นเป็นบรีชนะฮะเป็นแบบว่าการตัดสินใจด้วยตัวเองหรือว่าเป็นการตัดสินใจของจากทีมครับ
ส่วนมากถ้าอยู่ในเกมก็จะเป็นการตัดสินใจของผมมากกว่าแต่บางทีก็จะมีเพื่อนในทีมคอยช่วยบอกของบอกอะไรประมาณนี้
So mostly all the decision is made by himself, but sometimes he also got some recommended by his teammate as well.
So also you've joined the sort of big Thai team that's coming through in the VCT. You're representing your country. I want to know what it's like the support from home and sort of how you're feeling playing with that Thai org.
ก็ในฐานะที่เป็นตัวแทนทีมจากประเทศไทยนะครับรู้สึกยังไงบ้างครับแล้วก็ที่ได้รับซัพพอร์ตจากทางแฟนๆจากทางบ้านแล้วก็จากทั่วโลกครับ
ก็รู้สึกดีใจครับแล้วก็ที่ยังไม่ได้กลับบ้านเร็วก็รู้สึกที่ชนะดีใจวันนี้
So he's quite very excited and also happy to be able to keep staying in Brazil by beating the EG.
Well, of course, congratulations once again. It's been another upset, or so-called upset, coming through for the guys at Talon. Back over to you, Sue. How'd you find that one?
Thank you very much. Tom, I think you had a great point there. At what point do we stop calling it an upset? And Talon are just
I mean, at this point,
now we don't.
Yeah, at this point, surely. Every question I had going into that series, I feel like I got an answer to, Seth.
I will say, I think that them going up against DRX, that would still be an upset. If they're able to take them down.
Agree.
DRX being the kings of Asia this whole time, if they get if they manage to take them down, that is absolutely an upset. We can expect that in the past these guys have definitely scrimmed against each other, but not in the recent weeks, because as soon as the bracket would have come out, they would have seen that they're on the same side. They would have completely avoided each other. I know that for a fact. So they haven't gotten to scrim against each other for a while, but they have in the past. So there still should be some familiarity there for both of these teams.
But I do think at the end of the day, like if you're coming into an NA or an EMEA team, the day is now gone to say that automatically Talon are upsetting if they're winning. Before this tournament, I would say against those regions, it would be a massive feat for them. But at this stage, they have got to be at least the best looking Thai team that we've seen. And let's see how this tournament goes. They might be the most successful one in FPS history.
Well, speaking of those regions, we had to say send 2 NA teams home. They now know how I feel, you guys. But we do have a HyperX reflex moment of the day from one of the Cloud9 players earlier. In case you forgot about that game, Leaf here, he had a great tournament. I don't think he should be upset about any of his performances.
Certainly not. I mean, obviously you could draw some conclusions there when it came down to that icebox, just given how one-sided it was. But Leaf, he was just consistently messing me up. I was watching this match in the green room, and every single time he was alive, Seven was alive, I was concerned. Yeah. He had a wonderful performance, and I think for him to be able to come out and do as well as he did, and you know, really top the charts time and time again when he's on a team with Ye, is just amazing to see, because the glow up from him, from Zeppa, from the rest of that Cloud9 core has just been looking fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them take on the rest of the team in the Americas region.
You know, one thing that I saw that I really enjoyed was a tweet from Tanny where he said the chamber nerfs have hit some players a little bit too hard. And well, when it comes to Ye, I think it's fair to say, you know, that the performance certainly not what it used to be in capturing that magic, but that's where he's found himself a fantastic team, because we know that you can't just be like the top of the scoreboard consistently for years and years and years to come. That's not how this game is going to work. As the meta evolves, you need more depth, and well, we can see Ye step more into those roles again. A team that has a lot of work to do before going back regionally, but still a promising squad for the future.
Well, we're going to be seeing a lot of depth, I feel like, from the teams that are still in the tournament. The bracket is looking different day by day. That circle is shrinking. You've got the Pacifics on one side and Americas on the other as well, which means NRG versus Loud, DRX versus Talon, they're going to have to knock each other out.
And you know what? These shades of blue and orange are complementary colors, so it makes sense that we would have them just be nicely dispersed across this. But it is unfortunate that we will have to see an APAC team knock out an APAC team, an America's team knock out an America's team. But it does mean that we have gotten down to the 4 best teams in the alpha bracket, and that these last 2 series are going to be absolutely insane to watch.
Yeah, and I think realistically, no matter what that final ends up being, it is going to be an incredible battle. Maybe one more Pacific does end up making it out of this. I think, you know, between those 2 teams, I would love to see the BL5 almost break it down.
Sure.
We might be able to see that. But for now, we're gonna close the show out. Thank you very much for joining me, Seth and Mitch. We're gonna be back for more Valorant tomorrow, starting with NRG versus Loud. We'll see you then.
It's a battle of incredible consistency versus dynamic, fresh ideas. DRX squaring off against Cloud9. An epic confrontation. The crowd is hot. This is insane. The atmosphere in this room is utterly electric, and we are about to witness a war between 2 outstanding teams.
And there's the trade. So now we look at what's remaining. The 3 players make it just 2. Buzz and RB getting demolished by Zeppa.
Let's go,
Incredible work from Zelsis. Oh, and Zeppa as well. It's a blender. And DRX is just left strewn across the floor. The Cloud9 wall will not be moved. It's just... much better crossfires being held, but there's still life in them yet. RB's options starting to dwindle now with the second start to pass, and there it is. Cloud9 looking a cut above the rest.
Again, uncharacteristic from the side of DRX, looking flustered. One more DRX! He's invested, Paranoia sent out already. Buzz and Stacks both finding kills. Stacks gonna double down. Much better from DRX now. Yeah, he's reading this perfectly. He knows they're tucked in.
Oh. What? Oh, Buzz! Unbelievable. I'm glad we got to see this from DRX. It would have been a terrible shame to see them whimpering out after map 1. But now we look again on what's on the horizon, and it will be Icebox. Plants come through here as well. They're trying to get into it. Not going to happen. Yeah, Plants in. This is lovely from DRX. Clean work. RB. No stress. Beautiful. Oh, and it is Stacks! Incredible work, and DRX are immovable at this point. The Cloud9 Colossus has crumbled as DRX demolish them. Cloud9 are going home.
This is a real battle of the underdogs. Both teams have already had a great performance, but for one of them, today could be the start of that Cinderella run.
Contact play as well. The Paranoia clears that one corner. Close for them. And Busio covers again. Cruz returns to fire, but he is the sole player left alive now for Talon. And Jogamo, good God, man. That is crispy. No slowing down, is there? It was like round after round, and that was BCJT being into spawn. He's been dealt with. Shorty up close, has to reload that one, can't it? He's breaking ankles out here, man, and he's found the kill anyway. What are we witnessing? And this is just looking all over the place. Util being used one after the other. For Talon Esports, 13-11 will be the scoreline for map number 1.
Beautiful comeback from the Pacific team.
That could get awkward. Yeah, you can see the util being used, including Garden's nade. Using the refight, drops down from on high on heaven. A bit of a reflash as well, repeat right down to it. 4 bullets left in it, wants to go for it. There's the 8.
But as this fault line comes through, they can start rotating.
Pretty perfect timing there for the pull as well. And back up from the rest of them.
Woo!
Gee, what a way to try and make a commanding presence into mid, but okay, no way. He doesn't watch it, and that's that discipline. EG denied it, and another comeback completed. Talon will move forwards.
Awesome performance from these guys. The Cinderella story from the Pacific region continues. You can't help but root for them.